Welcome to Trading Lounge and the indices, and starting with the S&P here, we're looking at wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The 38.2% retracement level is just above the 5,000, and of course having 5,000 then the market's going to be drawn to that, and then we're looking from 4 to 5 for wave 3 and 4 here. So impulse waves are pretty easy to track, and corrective waves, there's about a dozen of them, so that makes it a little bit sort of difficult. So the S&P countdown here is a little bit different from the NASDAQ, but we are seeing this wave 3-4 pattern across markets and in the tech stocks and Nvidia and even Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of these. So many have, are creating this particular pattern for this market. It does look a little bit bearish and haunting and all the rest of it, but I was looking this week to see the markets pretty much shore up on the Thursday and lift on the Friday. If Friday closes firm, then it's highly likely Monday will follow through on that and we'll have a low in place. If Friday closes in the red, then we've got some issues at that point, and then we'll need to look at a larger correction to the downside. But I don't want to move until I've got all the evidence that I'd need to make a decision on that. A lot of the times we just tend to panic when we see a correction in the market, so it's just good to wait until we got enough evidence to move on. So based on this particular move here coming to the downside, we'll just go to the intraday here and pick up this wave 4 here. So as wave 3 here, I'm not sure what happened to the rest of my, there we go. So I understand firstly that there's different ways to count some of this, but I've just been sort of focused on this wave B being up here as an ABC for the A wave, and then a B wave here, and then looking down as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Now, it is quite possible that we've got a low in here already, or we're going to see this push on down a little bit further in the next session here. But I don't think that it's going to go too far from the 5,000. That's the main point here. Of course, at this stage, you could go long above the top there on the 550. That would be doable. So I just really want to see Thursday and Friday, see how this settles down in here. And like I said, it's not going to go very far. Its target really was the 5,000, and it's there. So, a lot of professional people won't sell into, into such a large number unless they're on the other side of it. So we'll just see how that plays out. And for the NASDAQ is the same as well. We're looking at wave 4 here, which is at its 38.2% retracement level, roughly there. We're looking around the 7 and 5. I think it will come down just a tad further, so we want to go and have a look at that. It's quite possible to put wave 3 here in this instance here. It's just that we don't have a nice 5-wave structure up here. We do on the S&P, but not so much on this market. And all of this here is a little bit complicated, and that means that different Elliott people could count it in different ways. So we just need to be a little bit mindful of that. So we could look at it as 1 and 2 in here, and an A and a B and a C here for this. And yeah, I don't know, it doesn't work really well. I mean, I can see it as a triangle pattern and then wave, putting this over to here, but it's, if it can be counted in different ways and it's unsure, then it's not reliable. So we need to move on from that. But many of the patterns, let's just go to the intraday here on this and pick this up here. So let's just look at this for a moment here. See, in this case, we can look at this as an ABC pattern to the upside. I could move this over to here and have a truncated structure here, which is fine too. So you can pretty much make it fit any way that you want. So when it's like that, I don't particularly like to use it. A lot of the corrections in the market have started, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all around of March in that particular area there. And Yeah, and some a bit later and earlier. So one of the markets I've been tracking with this is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we'll just have a quick look at those. I think Ethereum's probably got the best, one of the better counts to look at. It's just nice and clean and simple here. I mean, it is a tech stock in a way, you know, so as the market sees it anyway, but folks with red eyes would be jumping up and down about that. But wave A here, and then an ABC for the B wave, and then this is where it becomes interesting, because this is what we're counting on the NASDAQ here as 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third wave, fourth wave, and I still don't have a low in here yet. So if this is a fourth wave, it has pulled back above the 38.2%, which is in here, but it has pulled back to the wave 4, 1 lesser degree, and we are still one wave short. We can look at this as 1 here, and an A and a B and a C for 2 here, and then sort of moving on down. We know that large numbers like 3,000 here in this case become, you know, a bit of a sticky number in that regard, and you could go long above that wave 2 there too, by the way. But yeah, all in all, we should see, you know, a little bit more downside coming into play here for this. So that's what I'm sort of thinking, and you know, it would be nice. We don't have to take this low out here, but it's nice if we do, but we may not. Coming close to it's fine, and I've seen Ethereum. Hi there, we've got a great opportunity coming up on April the 14th to the 21st. It's going to be a free week for TradingLounge. So you'll get access to 6 analysts that cover most markets, Forex, ASX stocks, trade recommendations for most markets, a great social chat, great education, currencies, commodities, swing trading, and so on, sectors, US sectors and US stocks. So it's a great little opportunity to check out TradingLounge, absolutely no cost whatsoever. Just put in your name and email, and I will respond with you for your logins for April the 14th to 21st, and that will be at tradinglounge.com. So look forward to seeing you on the inside. Do this before Bitcoin has already taken its low out here as well. So when we look at Bitcoin here in this pattern, see, this was on the, that's around the 13th of March here, 14th here. So the NASDAQ was on the 9th, so not a long way off, but they both still have this ABC pattern, and that's why I'm putting the B wave over here for the NASDAQ as well. And in this case here, we're counting 5 waves down of 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's just nice and clean and easy to follow. And wave 4 here, and we've taken out this low here now. So all we need to do is count 5 waves down here. So in this case, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to come down. Now, all I'm looking for is some sort of nice impulse wave up here that we could use to say, well, if we've got 5 waves here, we'll get a counter trend in three waves, and this 3 waves here is the one that we're really looking for to build long trades in if it gets breached at that point. So not a lot to go here, but I do think there is some to finish off here, and that's why looking at the NASDAQ here, when we're counting this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, I'm looking at this as 1 here, an A and a B and a C for 2 here, and 3, 4. I still need to come down here further for this. That's the way I'm sort of thinking about it. I could put wave 4 over here and put wave 5 over here and have that low in place. That's possible, and look at this as 1 and 2 here and going up. So that's doable as well, but I kind of want to see, you know, I want to have a look at, I'm not seeing any evidence of a really good impulse wave to the upside at this stage. So that's what we're basically looking for, and I tend to see the markets shore up late Thursday afternoon and sort of, you know, and Friday start to build up. So we'll just see how it all plays out. But if we get this extra low and a move up here, then we know that we've got a low in. If we don't have that and we end up further down here for whatever reasons, that's okay too, but it does open up a bigger can of worms at that point, and we would need to look at a larger correction at that point. So I just really want to see how Thursday and Friday settle into this low. That's my thinking at this point. And over to the Russell here, or the IWM here. So this looks also quite bearish here as well. I've got to give it to the bears. So the A wave, the B wave here is a little bit small compared to the C wave here for this. So that is a little bit of a concern in this case. This one up here will be, we'll have to look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it can either be wave 1 or C up here. And if it's a C wave, it will take out this low down here. But we don't need to go there just yet. I understand the implications of things at this point, but I do need this to play out here. So I've got this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave here. Now, with the other markets that we're looking at, we were looking at having another low in here and then moving up here. Now, if that's the case, then that's fine in this instance. And in that case, then I would need to put, as I had it before, but in green, but 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish off at this point. So it hasn't really overlapped this one here. It's quite close or just on it or whatever. It has gaps, so it's got the third wave thing in it. So we just really need to see how this plays out as well. I'm just wanted to give it the worst case scenario at this point, So just look at this a little bit further down here. But our long trade will be on the 200 at this point. And if we look at the TNA while we're here as well, I did have a bit of a look at that. Let me just set this up in here so we're on the same page here, which is pretty much the same as the S&P 400 as well, the MDY here, this sort of pattern here. So it is coming down pretty fast here, and it's likely to come into the 30 sort of area here, which is also the 50-60% retracement level. So we just have to wait for that to play out at this point. Now, if we see that this market is going to turn give us a bearish move down here in 5 waves, so to speak, well, then we'll look for the counter trend and then we'll look to short. We don't want to short it. We don't want to chase it, in its final stages of completing an impulse wave down here. That's not going to make any, sort of trading sense at all. Okay, so that's that. We'll go over to the European markets, and in this instance here, we can see the indicators just set on normal settings. I normally run them faster, but we're pretty more on the daily charts. Good to have them sort of on the standard sort of setting. So you can see that it doesn't mean it's the low, but it's kind of, you could sort of look for things, because you can get a low here and it just pops up a bit and goes down. But I like the stochastics. George Lane created, and he was an Elliott Wave trader, did day trading on the S&P, but this one here rallied this far here, but this indicator here pushed back up really high and fast. So the speed of it here against the price is the best way to sort of use that. Anyway, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. Now, if I've made a mistake in this count here, then simply it would be this wave 3 and this wave 4 here, which would make a little bit of visual sense, in that proportion and ratios. But I just want to leave it this here for the time being, and it doesn't really sort of matter. We're at the 38.2%. Like the S&P here, there's some parts of this that can be understood easily and other parts not, but we can see that based on the stochastics here, we can see that we've got some sort of low here, so we'll see some sort of push up here in due course. So I was thinking, let me just get a bit more data into here so we can get the top in. So that's that top here, and it's a bit of a long road to the downside. Based on the stock 50, I worked out that this could be the ABC pattern here, and this will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, bit of overlap there, so we could sort of take that on board. Yeah, but apart from that, I mean, the other side of the coin is we could have this over to this side over here, but like I said, it sort of suited the stock 50. So then it's a matter, if this is the B wave, then we've got to count 5 waves to the downside. Now we know the stochastics is sort of loading up on the daily, so we're quite close to a low. We also know that we're at the 38.2% retracement level roughly. So there's a few things here that should give us good reason to push up. Now, I can count here as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here, and then down to the third wave, fourth and fifth for the third. The fourth is a little bit big here, but I'll run with it for the time being. Yeah, that's sort of okay-ish at this point, but yeah, I still want to make another low down here, so I'm not kind of ready to go with this just yet. I mean, I could look at this as 1, 2, and 3, and 4 here, and then have another little 5 waves down. I'm not sure how this is going to play out here, but I know that you get a bit of a bumpy road. You know, all we need to do is sort of take that out a bit, and then push up. But so I'm thinking Thursday will give us this, and then Friday we'll start looking for that impulse wave. That's what I'm hoping. And if we get it, well, then we have a long trade. It'll be a risk on. If we don't get it, we don't get it. You know, but even so, if we don't get it and the market sort of drifts down even here lower, we still have to wait for a correction to short the market to the downside in a bigger picture, you know. And you know, so I'm just not you know, I don't want to come to the party late on you know, shorting this here. It doesn't make any sort of sense. So we're just going to be patient, and we're just going to wait. We come over to the FTSE here, and this situation here is kind of in line with the S&P as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. Now I can look at this top in 2 different ways. I can look at this as wave 3 to here, and 4 and 5 for this wave 3. That's one way to look at it. Or I can push this wave 4 over to this point over here for this, and look at use one of these. But it's a little bit messy in here. I mean, I can see that this is in 5 waves, and you know, I could push this over this. I could use this one here. So it's going to be one of these wave 4s here for this, you know. But once again here, we've also got, you know, this is not quite ready yet, but it's another session or so. We could be looking at, you know, support, especially if we get another bar to the upside here. So we're kind of there. Let's just go to the intraday chart here, and on the intraday chart here I can count this down. If I put wave 3 up there as an A and a B, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So in this case I do have an impulse wave to the upside here. So taking out this top here, which may be the case and may not be the case, but if it took this top out here, then we'll have to look at this as 1, 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 up here. So if this, you know, if this was going to be a bigger bearish picture, let's just assume for a moment, let's just play this out. It may be true, it may not be, but if we got 5 waves here and then the market came down here and overlapped this, you know, came down to this point here, well, then we would be looking for short trades at this point. In terms of day trading, would be shorting at that point, based on 5 waves here and a bit of an overlap at this point. So we'll just see how this plays out. I don't want to make a move until at least the end of Thursday session. So I'm just going to be, I'm going to sit on my hands and do nothing and just observe the all of the markets, because you know, with the indices you've also got to bring in the stocks as well in all of this. So yeah, the Australian market here, we're looking at this as being 5 waves up here, and we're looking for an ABC, and we talked about this here yesterday, having a bit of a rally and still a little bit of a downside to come here. Now there may be 2 moves to the downside or just 1 move to the downside. Let's just check on this here. That's, at least it's down on the lower end here somewhere, so that's also good, and leaving a gap up there is also good as well, if it's a futures contract, because I know that will get covered in due course. Every buyer, there's a seller on the futures market, so that's good. Yeah, so it's just really a matter of sort of understanding this, but we don't have to do anything today. We don't want to do anything today at this particular point. You know, we just need to just sit tight, on this. And I was thinking of something else here, the banks, and we talked about the banks yesterday. We lined up BAC with Combank and all the rest of it, so they're all going through the same thing as well here, so don't need to have a look at that. But from the top here, we're looking at a possible A and a B, and then one ABC for 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, and we're looking for a rally yesterday. I still need wave 5. I don't know where my wave 5's gone, but we'll put that in. So we could still get one more low here. 2 more lows, yeah, because we'd still need to see, let me just get these together here. This would sort of drag this out much further, of course, but I just want to give the worst case scenario and see what occurs at this point. You know, because I could do things like put the B wave over here and then drag the C wave in over here. I could see that working. You know, I can see that working. So, but I don't want to do that because it doesn't sort of make any. I mean, it makes sense, but I can't rely on that at the moment. You know, it's nice to see the market up. It's going to try to get back into group 2 here, which is quite significant really, because a lot of the time the market will come down, you know, once it's been up here, come down and test group 2, 65, 72 and 80 here and do these type of things, but end up sitting in group 2 here. And if it produces a good case of having support on the lower end of group 2 here, you know, something like this here, well then we'll look to go in it. But it's just a little bit early at this stage. Based on what the rest of the world is doing. I know the Aussie market can you know, play out, you know, do its sort of own thing a little bit, but yeah, not enough there to go long just yet on this. So we're just going to we'll just chill on that. Alrighty, so I just want to leave it as that, as simple as possible. And the situation is yeah, I see the bearish picture. I can see a larger bearish picture unfolding across the markets, but at the same time, I just want to stay with my wave 4s on stock and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and the Bitcoin and all of those, and just allow that to all play out. And once that's played out, then we'll either be long or we'll be looking for short. So I just don't want to act too early. We know the implications of that. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.